Welcome to this module on the past perfect. Now, this is really just a fancy grammatical term for the word had. For example, I had already finished when he offered to help me. I had told him what to do the night before. I had never seen such a beautiful sunset. So this sense of had is called or referred to as the past perfect. Now, the key sound to achieve this in Spanish is había. So we have like a line past sound to it with the accent over the I, había. Now to that we can create a key slide, and this is the one that you're going to need to memorize. We have había, habías, había, habíamos, and habían. So you can see that key sound of había repeating itself all the way down the line. And we're very used to this already with the line past in Spanish. So this would be I had había, you had habías. He, she, or it had había. Notice that it's the same for I. Then we had habíamos, and they had habían. Now, to that key sound, you will add the past participle of any verb. This is something that we've already looked at quite extensively with other tenses. For example, we have the verb hablar, which is to speak. So the past participle would be hablado, meaning spoken. Now, to express something like I had spoken, you would put those two elements together. So we have había hablado. I had spoken. Había hablado. What's the word for already? Ya. So how would you say I had already spoken? Ya había hablado. Remember that whenever we get the word already in Spanish, they tend to throw it at the front of the sentence. This is where it sounds most natural. So once again, I had already spoken. Ya había hablado. How would you say I had already spoken with him? Ya había hablado con él. I had already spoken with him this morning. Ya había hablado con él esta mañana. How would you say I hadn't spoken? No había hablado. What's the word for before? Antes. Now how would you say I hadn't spoken with him before? No había hablado con él antes. Let's return back to that key slide once again. So we have había, habías, había, habíamos, and habían. We'll switch our focus now to the second one, you had habías. How would you say you had spoken? Habías hablado. What about he, she, or it had spoken? Había hablado. It's the same as I. We had spoken. Habíamos hablado. They had spoken. Habían hablado. Let's try it with another verb, such as comer, to eat. So what would be the past participle of this verb comer? In other words, we want to say eaten. Comido. Now how would you say I had eaten? Había comido. I had already eaten. Ya había comido. What's the word for never? Nunca. How would you say I had never eaten? Nunca había comido. Notice that just like the word already, never tends to also come up at the front of sentences in Spanish. It's where it sounds most natural. So we have nunca había comido. How would you say, I had never eaten tacos before? Nunca había comido tacos antes. How would you say, you had eaten? Habías comido. He, she, or it had eaten. Había comido. We had eaten. Habíamos comido. How would you say, we had already eaten everything? Ya habíamos comido todo. What about they had already eaten everything? Ya habían comido todo. So as you can see, we have two parts to this formula. On one side, we have this key sound of había, which runs all the way down the line. And onto that, you are going to tag the past participles of verbs. I'd also like to mention one more important thing. Whenever you have it or any other pronoun, for example, I had eaten it, this it is going to appear way up front at the very beginning of the phrase or the sentence. So this would be lo había comido. It I had eaten. Now it doesn't matter what pronoun it is, whether it's lo, la, los, or las, me, te, se, nos, se, le, les, even combined pronouns, mello, tello, sello, noslo, and so forth. Whatever combination or whatever pronoun it is, when you need to throw it into a sentence, it's always going to come here up front. Make sure that you remember that for the rest of this module.